My name is Paula Davis. I manage a vineyard, and this vineyard here is the Smith Hill Winery and Vineyard. I've been working here for about 7 years. Working in a vineyard is calming to me. So most people would say, it's too much work, but no, not for me. I just love being outside and taking care of my grapes in February all the way through October. Growing up on a farm, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I liked math and I liked science. I got a degree from Iowa State for my undergraduate in biometry, which was statistics, and I could do pest management with that. Then worked as a crop consultant for a while. And then I knew I really liked plants. Looking for insects, looking for weeds, talking to growers about what their problems were and what we could do to help them manage better. I got into grapes, and it's like gardening on steroids. Here I've got 8 acres of grapes, but there's always something to do. It's a lot more complex, and the fruit is highly perishable. So unlike corn and soybeans, which you can harvest, and you have time to harvest it, and you can get everything planted, but you can also store it. But fresh grapes make good wine. The challenge of harvesting it despite the weather, as well as trying to maintain and keep them healthy. Diseases frequently can come in and end up spoiling fruit. And so we really have to keep on top of all of that management. It's a lot more intensive than growing 100 acres of corn. And it's also fairly valuable on 1 acre in terms of how much grapes cost and what we sell them for. I mean, it's just a lot more intense. We start in the middle of winter. 95% of what's grown that previous year, like you can see, we have to take that off because we want quality grapes. And so if a grapevine grow like this, it would all end up with fruit at the ends, and it would be all strung out going this way, and you wouldn't get much fruit. And so we're trying to intensively manage them. Our goal is to have 4 tons an acre, which is a reasonable goal for Iowa, but we're having to do a lot more to make sure we're pruning them correctly, cutting off most of what you see there. Each stem has about 20 buds on it. So each little stem there. So we only want to save the best 2. But that's saving given the fact that we could get a frost, or we could have some bugs damage something, or we could have wind break something. So we have to factor in a little extra to just make sure that we can deliver what we need to make that 4-ton goal. Most of the diseases, especially the fruit rots, many of those actually get started when the plants are very young. And so we have to make sure that this rapidly growing plant stays healthy, because we get a lot of diseases that attack the canes, but by having a preventative program for those diseases, once a week, getting a spray during their rapid growth time, and then coming back and periodically checking to see whether there's insects that are coming around, whether there's signs of any diseases breaking through, and then we'll keep rotating our pesticides so that we can keep on top of it. Once things start to grow, so that the sap starts to run, then things get really busy because we have to finish up our pruning. This is like in April to May. Weeds will start to germinate, and we have little paths that are here in the background. You can see some dirt on the ground. So we have to keep that free of weeds. By that time, everything is starting to really grow fast. Mid-July, and we're going, okay, we got a net. We got to keep our birds away from our fruit because they love our fruit a lot. And so we put nets over the whole thing, and we have to attach them on. But before you can do that, you have to make sure everything is all nice and straight and pulled. And so we do something called combing, which you pull down all the vines. You're trying to take it off and then shorten it up. Then July comes, you've got that all done, and you go, okay, I think I got my last spray down, and now I've got to be out there looking and seeing what's my fruit look like. We'll take a look at clusters, make counts on how many clusters we have, estimate what our yield is going to be, and then we're actively at that time placing most of our orders. So it's working with customers. The winemakers have all their own secret recipes, and so they may say, I need 2 tons of LaCrosse, and maybe I need all of your crescents you can give me, and figure out when they need it, how much they need. And starting second week in August, we'll start picking. And we pick for about 4 or 5 weeks. We've got about 8 to 9 varieties that we're picking at any one time. I had to learn the business side too. You know, keeping track of costs, expenses, all of that's really important if you're running a business. You've got to hire people to help you, and so you're just coordinating that hiring. You got to keep current. You never stop learning, and so that's the key.